Well, going through my bookshelf recently, I came across an old classic by Don Tapscott called Creating Value in the Network Economy. It's actually a collection of interesting articles on things like trust in the online space, the Elance economy, and creating virtual factories. The virtual factories is particularly important to me because my company focuses on creating virtual teams for internet startups. In effect, we are a virtual factory for virtual teams. I'm Skip Shuda, and the name of my company is Team in a Dream. And I'm going to talk to you about virtual teams today. Tapscott said that a virtual factory has to have three important factors. First of all, it has to be able to incorporate partners at all levels of a relationship. Secondly, it has to be able to include partners at all stages of a relationship. And finally, it has to provide all of the required functionality. Well, if you think about what a virtual team that's going to support an internet startup requires, it has to have all of those facets as well. How might you be able to use a virtual team in your business? Well, let's take a look. First of all, you might be able to do some research into your competition and some market analysis. A virtual team is a great way to offload this really important task that people don't usually have time for. Secondly, a social media dashboard. One of my favorite uses of a virtual team is to actually have virtual team members identify the websites, the blogs, the forums that I should be monitoring and participating in, and then finding those threads, those topics that are of interest to my business, so that I can then find them all aggregated into one place and I can respond to those, and then the virtual team will take them and send them back to the appropriate forums. So I can stay in touch with the social media in a fraction of the time required to do it myself. I can also do some prospect list building, mining the companies, finding the officers or the people that I need to meet. It can be a time-consuming task. Virtual teams are a great way to help you list build. Seminars and webinars, all the way from the concept to the promotion to the execution on a day-to-day basis. Virtual teams can help out. And of course, running your back office. With powerful infrastructure tools like NetOffice and QuickBooks, you can now have virtual teams that actually execute your back office infrastructure for your business. Now, let's take a look at the pyramid over here. We like to talk about virtual teams as the power of the pyramid. And what we do is we actually have at the top the specialists. You always are going to need some level of expertise in a well-designed virtual team, but you want to use it in a very targeted way. So we might do a half-a-day workshop that's facilitated by an expert. Then the project manager or the marketing manager is the actual glue in the virtual team, and they're going to make this actually sing. They're going to pull together all the pieces, make sure the team members are operating, and make sure that the value is being created for the client. And at the base we have our affordable muscle. These are often interns, retired executives, stay-at-home moms, even entrepreneurs are helping out as affordable muscle to provide that horsepower to actually get the work done. So all together, the specialists, the project manager, and the affordable muscle creates a pyramid of value where there's a great deal of value being generated at a much more affordable price point. And that's one of the ways that the virtual teams operate and make you more effective as a business. Now, that brings me to another point. A virtual team is not just a collection of freelancers or contractors. A virtual team has to be supported. So we spend a lot of time, for example, in developing our communication and collaboration infrastructure. We look at methodologies to perform the repeatable practices that the virtual teams can become better and better at over time. And we also have to provide samples to the virtual team so they can see what the ideal deliverables look like. And of course, you have to have a smart governance structure. We like to use a circle-based governance structure called holacracy, but we'll talk about that some other day. At the end of the day, though, creating a virtual team is something that we've decided to specialize in, and then we can bring that value to the internet startup and the internet entrepreneurship marketplace. But it's not always that easy. You have to have the right screening criteria. You have to have virtual team members that are willing to do work within the pyramid. Not all specialists, for example, are willing to do half-day workshops as the extent of their engagement in a virtual team architecture. And you also have to have the ability to verify your virtual team members. We have dozens of virtual team members from all over the world, and we need to be able to examine their experience, their credentials, their references, and we've employed a system to actually put their resumes in an online format and verify those credentials so that we know they are who they say they are, and you can have confidence in our ability to deliver on the value in your startup, in your enterprise. So those are a couple of thoughts about virtual teams. Hopefully you found that to be useful, and I want to thank you for stopping by.